Good morning, class, and welcome to Introduction to Language and Culture. My name, if you have not yet met me, is Mr. Atkins, and I am your teacher for this course. I am very glad to see you, and as I told my extensive reading classes, I will be teaching you online this semester. The reason why I'm teaching online is because I am still in Singapore right now, and therefore, because of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, I am still not able to return to Xi'an yet. But I and my family are very eager to return to Xi'an as soon as possible. So today, I'm going to be explaining the rules for this class. I will explain my expectation for you. We will talk about what we will be studying in this course. And then later today, we will start talking about the history of the English language. So first, I want to show you a video. And this video is called Decoding the Language of Culture. So please, this video is about 4 minutes. I'm going to send this video to you on WeChat. So I want you to look for this video and then watch it. So I want you to pause this video. I want you to watch Decoding Culture, the Decoding Culture video, and then we'll come back together and we will talk about this course. So please pause this video now and enjoy decoding language. I hope you enjoyed watching that video, and now we are going to talk about our course. So let me call up a PowerPoint, and then we will get into talking about what is in this course. So this course is called Introduction to English-Speaking Countries, and today we are going to be talking about the Anglosphere, and I'll explain what the Anglosphere is later. So the first question we need to talk about is, why should I learn about English-speaking countries? I know that this class is required for many of you who are in the English department. And so you may be saying, well, I'm taking this class because it's required. But why is the school requiring this class of you? Why should you learn about English-speaking countries? Well, there are some good reasons why you should learn about English-speaking countries. Some of you may get to travel to an English-speaking country someday, and in that case, this class will help you at that time. But what if you never do get to travel to an English-speaking country? What benefit then can you gain from this course? Well, if I ask you this question, many of you would answer by saying that learning about English-speaking countries will help you to broaden your horizons. And that is a good answer. That is a very true answer. And that is a very real benefit. But let's take a closer look at this answer. What exactly do we mean when we say broadening our horizons. Does broadening your horizon mean you have more knowledge about other countries and that you're simply piling up facts on top of each other and you're just simply gaining more and more knowledge? Or does it mean something different? A couple of years ago, my family read about life in Afghanistan, where people have very strict rules. For example, girls are not allowed to go to school in Afghanistan. People cannot watch TV in Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, people cannot dance. Children cannot play with dolls or teddy bears because dolls and teddy bears represent living things, living beings, living animals, or living people. Men are required to grow beard. I mean, it's not an option. Every man must grow a beard in Afghanistan. Women cannot leave home without being accompanied by their father, their brother, their husband, or some other male relative. So when my son, Caleb, heard about this, his first response was, "This is stupid. Why would people do such a stupid thing?" But my wife and I explained to him that while many of these things may be wrong, it's also important to understand why people in Afghanistan do these things. In the same way, as we study about English-speaking countries, in this course, you may find yourself saying things like, "Why do so many Americans have guns? That's stupid." Or, "Why are so many Americans refusing to wear face masks? That's stupid. That doesn't make sense." But before you say these things, you should first try to understand why people in English-speaking countries do the things they do and say the things they say. So, learning a foreign language involves much, much more than learning the vocabulary and the grammar. Yes, vocabulary and grammar are very important because you want to be able to communicate clearly. But learning a foreign language goes far beyond than just just vocabulary and grammar. If you know something about English-speaking countries, then you'll be in a much better position to have worthwhile conversations with native English speakers. In other words, knowing a language, learning a foreign language also, it's also beneficial when you're learning a foreign language. It is also beneficial or helpful to learn about the culture behind the language. Because once you know the culture, once you understand why people do the things they do and why they say the things they say, you'll be able to have much more meaningful conversation with native English speakers. So now let's talk about your expectations for this course.
What? Hey, Dad.
Yes, Caleb? So now let's talk about what this course is about and some other information that will be helpful for you in this course. So I'm sending this syllabus to you right now, Introduction to Language and Culture, Fall 2020. So you can see my instructor information. My phone number is 132-5987-5101. And my email address is jalapeno.duck@hotmail.com. So let's look at this syllabus together. So let's talk about the purpose of this course. This course will introduce students, meaning you, to the language and culture of English-speaking countries, especially the United States and the United Kingdom. We will also talk about Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and maybe a few other English-speaking countries. By the end of this course, student, you, will have a better understanding of how language and culture influences people in English-speaking countries and knowledge of some of the differences between British and American cultures. So that's the purpose behind this course. Now, let's talk about grading. You will be graded on class participation and your final exam. Class participation will include homework assignments, class quizzes, and your midterm exam. Your semester grade will be computed in the following manner. Classroom participation will count for 30% of your grade, while your final exam will count for 70% of your grade. So that's how I will do grading. Now, from time to time, we'll have quizzes and we will have a midterm exam. Those will be part of your class participation grade. So yes, quizzes and your midterm exam are important. So let's talk about my expectation for you in this course. So you are expected to be present for all class sessions. That's because if you are not present for our online lessons, then you will be missing out on learning more about the culture of English-speaking countries. Since we will be meeting online due to the ongoing effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, our lessons will be different from the in-person lessons you have had in the past. We will be using either the Tencent platform or WeChat for our class sessions. So please be patient with the online format. You will be given homework assignments. You are expected to turn in your homework assignments on time. If you have any questions about anything during our class session, please feel free to ask me at any time. If you have any questions about your homework assignment or test preparation, please feel free to ask me anytime outside of class. I will be glad to answer any question you might have. So here is our class schedule. We will be meeting in Building 5, room 304 on Wednesdays from 8:10 to 9:50 a.m. Although you will be in your classroom, this lesson will be delivered online. Our lessons will start on time, so please be online at the right time. So let's look at the outline of the lessons that we will have this semester. So you can see this is the outline for our course. This week we will have our introduction to the course. Next week we will be talking about the question, what is culture? On the third week we will talk about American values. In week 4 we'll talk about the geography and demographics of English-speaking countries. Then on week 5 we'll talk about education. Week 6 will be sports. Week 7 will be entertainment. Then week 8, we will have our midterm exam. On week 9, we will talk about government and politics in the United States and the United Kingdom. Then on week 10, we'll talk about religion in English-speaking countries. We'll talk about family for week 11, holidays and Thanksgiving for week 12, work careers and the economy for week 13. Then the last 2 weeks before the final exam, we will cover British history and American history. So these are the topics that we will cover this semester. Now, I want you to see the note that I have put at the bottom of this outline. Topics may be changed as needed. So this is my plan, but if things need to be changed, I want you to know that we may have to change things if we need to. So that's some basic information about our course. And so if you have any questions about any of that, please feel free to ask me after today's lesson. And now let's talk about my class rules, the rules I have for this course. And these rules will be familiar because they are the same rules that I have for my extensive reading class. But I want to remind you so that you will be able to remember these rules. So the first rule is I want you to be present every time we meet, because if you are not present, then you are missing out on an opportunity to learn more about English-speaking culture, English-speaking countries, and not only that, you're missing out on an opportunity to improve your English. The second rule is English only in this classroom. I know that all of you speak very good Chinese, and I know that you enjoy speaking in Chinese. But when we have lessons for this class, I want you to speak English only. That way, we will be able to create an English language environment, and that will help you to improve your English language skills. The third rule is I want you to take part in all classroom activities. We will have different activities in this class. And when we have these activities, I want you to take part in these activities. And the reason is because I have designed these activities to help you to improve not only your English language skills, but also to help you to better understand the language and cultures of English-speaking countries. And if you are not taking part in these class activities, yes, you might be hearing a little bit of English, you might get a little bit out of the lesson, but you will not be able to get the full benefit of these class activities. So for you to get the full benefit of these class activities, I want you to take part in all class activities. And the fourth rule is I want you to come to class prepared. If I give you reading assignments or some homework assignment to do before we come to class, I want you to complete those reading assignments and homework assignments before you come to class. That way, you will be better prepared for that day's lesson. So those are my 4 rules. Be present at all class sessions, English only, take part in all class activities, and come prepared. Be ready when you come to class for the day's lesson. So those are the rules for this course. And again, if you have any questions about these rules, please ask me after class. So now we are going to start talking about the Anglosphere. So let's go back to the PowerPoint, and we will talk about the Anglosphere. So what is the Anglosphere? Well, the Anglosphere is a term that is used to describe all the English-speaking countries that are around the world, because the world is a globe or sphere. So the Anglosphere are all those countries around the world that either have English as their official language or where English is widely spoken. So if you look on this map, you will see where these English-speaking countries are. So the countries in dark green are those countries where English is used as the first and official language, whereas the countries in light green are those countries where English is used as a lingua franca, which means a trade language, or as an official language. So when you look at this map, you can see where the dark green countries are. Now, when we talk about the Anglosphere, there are what I call the big 5 English-speaking countries. And those are the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. So those are the big 5 English language speaking countries in the Anglosphere. Now, there are many other nations where there are several other nations where English is the official language. These include Ireland, Singapore, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, and Liberia. Now, Singapore actually has 4 official languages: English, Mandarin Chinese, Malay, and Tamil. But English is one of the official languages in Singapore. Then we have a number of other countries throughout the world that we might call minor English-speaking countries, but that minor does not mean they are unimportant. Minor means that English is not necessarily the official language in these countries. So, for example, in Asia, quote, minor English-speaking countries include India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, and Hong Kong. Now, Hong Kong used to be a British colony, but it is now part of China. It came back into the mainland, Chinese mainland, on July 1st, 1997. But of course, things are changing in Hong Kong because Mandarin Chinese is now becoming more and more important in Hong Kong. And we may see the day when English is no longer spoken very much in Hong Kong. In the Pacific, English-speaking countries include the Philippines and Papua New Guinea. In Africa, other English-speaking countries include Ghana, Zambia, Tanzania, Egypt, Gambia, Botswana, Kenya, and Malta. Malta is actually in the Mediterranean Sea, but it is considered part of Africa. And then if you look at the Caribbean, you will find a few more English-speaking countries. There is Belize, which is actually in Central America, Jamaica, Bermuda, the Barbados Islands, and Grenada. Now, when I give you quizzes or exams, if I ask you to name English-speaking countries, I will be asking only for the big 5 English-speaking countries. That is the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. So those are where the English-speaking countries are. Now, here's another question. How many people use English? Well, let's take a look at this slide, okay? According to the 2017 edition of Ethnologue, which is published by the Summer Institute of Linguistics, SIL, there are 378.2 million native language speakers of English, and 743.5 million people who speak English as a second language, for a total of 1.2 billion people worldwide who regularly use English. Now, if you compare that to Chinese, how many people speak Chinese? Well, at least 1.4 billion people who live in mainland China. Then you add the other Chinese who are living in countries outside of China. So the number of Chinese speakers in the world may be 1.5 billion or more, which is more than the total number of people who speak English. But here's the thing. English is spoken all over the world. Chinese may one day be spoken all over the world, but right now it is mainly spoken in places like China, the island of Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, and by Chinese living in other countries. So that is where that's how many people speak English. So now that we've seen where the different English-speaking countries are, we're going to talk about another question. How widespread is English? And to help you answer that question, I am sending you I'm going to send you a worksheet that's entitled Top 10 Fun Facts About English. And then I'm going to send you a video of the same name, Top 10 Fun Facts of English. And what I want you to do is I want you to watch this video and listen to it. And as you watch this video, I want you to fill out the viewing guide that I've given you, because the viewing guide has some blanks in it. And I want you to fill in each blank with the correct words from the video. So you will watch this video, fill in the blanks, and then after you watch this video and fill in the blanks, you will come back to this video, and then we will talk together. We will go over the answers together. So please pause this video right now. I want you to watch the other video, Top 10 Fun Facts About English, and fill out the viewing guide, and then come back to this video and we will go over the answers together. So please start watching the other video now. Okay, now that you've watched that video, Top 10 Fun Facts About English, let's talk about it. Let's go over the answers together. So here we go. Number 10, English is the most commonly used language in the sciences. It is the most commonly used language in the sciences. On Scopus, which is the world's largest science database, 80% of all entries as of 2012 were written entirely in English. 80% of all scientific articles were written entirely in English as of 2012. Okay, number 9, English in the publishing world. According to the UNESCO Institute for Statistics, 21.84% of all books in the world are published in English. So that number is 21.84%. 62.5% of all periodicals or magazines are published in English. So that second number is 62.55%. So that's another way of saying that a large number of books and magazines are published in English. Number 8, English on the internet. English is used by 800 million people on the internet. Chinese is used by 649 million people on the internet, and Spanish is used by 229 million people on the internet. Now, those numbers may change in the future, but at this time in history, these are the numbers of people who are using English, Chinese, and Spanish on the internet. Number 7. Now, this is really interesting. English is not the official language of the United States. In 1664, 18 different languages were spoken on the island of Manhattan alone. Now, what the video did not mention, and that I will add, is that according to the United States Census Bureau, at least 350 different languages are spoken in the United States. So the United States truly is a melting pot, and we will talk more about that in another lesson. Number 6, the official language of the aviation industry. In 1962, the International Civil Aviation Organization, or ICAO, decided that it was essential for air traffic controllers to provide their services in English. And sadly, a number of fatal air accidents have occurred because of the lack of proficiency by non-native English speakers. So this is why the International Civil Aviation Organization decided that all air traffic controllers should use English so that everyone will literally be on the same page. Okay, number 5, the official working language of ASEAN. ASEAN means the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. One of the articles of ASEAN's charter states the working language of ASEAN shall be English. And the reason why this is done is because this helps reduce the cost of translation among the member nations for documents, meetings, and so forth. So that's why ASEAN uses English as their working language. Number 4, the death of other languages. It is predicted that by the year 2100, 90% of the world's languages will have been lost to us. 90% by the year 2100. As English becomes more commonly used, other languages are dying out. This means the future will be much less linguistically diverse. And I have talked about this with one of my friends from Africa. My friend is an English teacher who is from the nation of Ghana. And so I asked him, you know, how many people are many people in Ghana speaking their local dialects, their local tribal languages? And he told me, no, Mr. Atkins, as the younger people use English more and more, they are using their tribal languages less and less. So this is very true. Many languages around the world are dying out. And that is sad in many ways, but it is a reality. Okay, number 3, when people protest in far-off countries, what language do they often write their protests in? You know, you'll see a news report of people protesting some kind of event or policy or decision by another country, and what language do they often write their protests in? English. For example, the BBC World Service, which broadcasts in English, has a worldwide audience of 250 million people. So that means, because these news broadcasts are often done in English, many people in many different countries around the world, when they protest different events or different policies or different decisions made by different governments, they will often write their protests in English. Why? Because so many people around the world are using English. Okay, here is fun fact number 2. Japan considers English an official language. Did you know that? Very interesting. And number 1, more non-native English speakers than native English speakers use English. So there are 750 million people around the world who use English as a foreign language, compared to 375 million native English speakers. So those are your top 10 fun facts about English.